So I'm guided to record this video, okay, to talk about the power of unleashing your voice through crying. Yep, crying like a baby. There's this negative connotation that has got to do with crying. That crying is a form of weakness, is a form of losing in this game of life. Like you're powerless and is in a very disadvantaged position. So there are so many instances where some proverbs and old idioms, they will say, I would rather die than to cry. I would rather bleed than to cry. Good men don't, strong men don't cry. Or you tell little boys or little girls, don't cry, be a good girl, be a good boy. So there's so much going around that actually, treat crying like it's a sin, okay? So it treats crying like a sin, it treats crying like a taboo, like you're not supposed to cry, you're supposed to hold your tears in. But do you know that all this is a form of suppression? And when you are not expressing, you are suppressing. Okay, so that is the total opposite of what unleashing your power is. Unleashing your voice, it goes against all of that. It's the complete opposite of that. Okay, so I used to find it very hard to cry. Okay, I couldn't cry for the longest time, and I actually numb myself a lot, like really numb myself, how I feel, how I carry myself in the world. And yeah, I'm still achieving things, but not with an open heart. Like a part of me is very blocked. Okay, so no matter how much I've achieved, no matter how much money I've earned, I still feel that there's something lacking inside of me. Okay, like I'm not fully there, like I'm not fully in here. Okay, or I'm not letting myself be free just to be myself. So, okay, so let me give you an example. They asked me to demo. Okay, I'm gonna say, here's my guides. Okay. So my guides want me to share this. So I was just looking through Facebook as usual. I was just browsing through the feed, Facebook news feed, about people's updates and also some suggestions. When you go on the videos, they will suggest the next video and the next video and the next video that they think the algorithm thinks that you may be interested in. So what happened was I was watching some nice, good feeling, feel good videos of children and babies, and suddenly I was shown the feed of my friend. It's a 2 days old post, but it just pop up in my feed, and it's the picture of more than 20 babies and toddlers. It seems like a underground bomb shelter in Ukraine. And that, at the time of this recording, the Russia attack on Ukraine is still very fresh. Okay, it's been barely a week, so I think it's been a week. So it's really very, no, it's not even a week, barely a week, yeah. So then when I saw those faces, and then I was like, oh my God, I have to hold back my tears. Okay, I was choking on my own tears, like I was choking back a sob. Yeah, SOB sob. So then after that, the next thing I knew is the video showed me, the next video that popped up is actually from 3 days ago, where a husband who is in my country, his wife is in Ukraine, she's a Ukrainian, so their company has Ukrainian staff as well. That's why the wife is based there while he's here in my country. And so then he was saying, like, he received 3 consecutive messages from his wife saying that the airport has been bombed, she's evacuating her family to the shelter, and that she loves him very much. That, I was like, oh my God, that may very well be her last messages to her husband. First, the babies, second, the husband and wife relationship. And for me, these are the 2 most important things in my life: my babies and my husband. And of course, myself, but you get what I mean. So it's like I don't have anyone in Ukraine personally. I know that I have clients who have family in Ukraine. I know that I have friends who have people in Ukraine, but I don't have anyone personally in Ukraine. But I feel so much for this. And I felt like, what if it happens to my country? It just happened in a split second. Like you were planning for a party in a weekend and suddenly just bomb. You're just planning to go to work the next day and bomb. So this is a reality now. Like there's no guarantee that just because it doesn't happen in your backyard, it won't happen to you ever. Who would have thought it would happen here now? Like how it happened, like even in other countries where it's not so widely spoken about, because it's Ukraine, you get white people there, so there's more news coverage. There's also the other side of it, that is the Middle Eastern conflict, okay, the war that's going on there, Syrian war, okay. So it also reminded me of this time, I think it was 4 years ago, 2017 or 2018. That's like 4 or 5 years ago, when I was sponsoring this family in Syria through this organization, and then they arranged for a call for us sponsors to speak to them, the real human touch. The young lady that I was sponsoring refused to talk to me because she was in depression. And in that moment, I felt like I was very presumptuous. I felt that I was very presumptuous that, just because I gave her a few, like some money every month, that I could be entitled to a time to talk to me when she is in the refugee camp, and then she has nothing. She has no washing machine. She don't even have fridge, and they don't even have meat to eat. So then, and she was in the first year of university. Her future is just destroyed overnight. She couldn't continue her studies. The future looks bleak to her, and that's why she fell into depression. So in the end, it was her mother who talked to me. I did not know how to speak Arabic, so we had a translator and we were talking, and I could see that she was trying very hard to put on a happy face for me. Then after that, I never want to talk to them anymore. I mean, if I give, I just give. I don't want to talk. I felt pretentious and presumptuous. Like, I'm here. Yeah, I'm not the richest person in the world. I don't have luxury as what most rich people would have, but I'm comfortable and I'm happy, and I have food on the table. I have a nice bed to sleep in. I can have peaceful sleep, and I live life to the fullest that I can now, compared to those whose lives were robbed from them, literally, or those whose lifestyle would just change overnight. The world just turned topsy-turvy, and everything was stripped away from them. They lost their homes, they lost their families. Don't get me started on other things as well. So like all this rationalization that it's not our problem, it's not in our backyard, it's not our problem, it will never happen to me. But what if one day all this escalated and it actually turned up not in your backyard, but in your front door or straight away in your living room? Boom, just drop. How would you feel then? It could have been prevented. It could have, if only we have spoken, if only we have spoken up earlier, if only we have voiced out earlier and do something about it, apply pressure to those in power. it would have made a difference. It really would have made a difference. I believe that. I really believe that. The power of the people, the power when we unleash our voice and we lend a voice to those who are trapped in situations where it's out of their control. Well, we still have that last shred of freedom and last shred of humanity within us. Why don't we just use that to make a difference, to apply pressure until we get the change that we really envision for the world? It's not only you and me anymore, it's we, because there's only one world and we are all in it. I have been quiet a long time because I was struggling with my own beliefs that, it's better to keep quiet about things that I don't know much about. I'm not there. I'm not, I have nothing. I have no stake in it. I don't have relatives in all these places. I don't have friends in all these places, only friends or family or friends. So so people may ask me, why do you care so much? You don't have anything there. You don't have anyone there. So why do you have to care so much? Life goes on, so just move on. But I'm thinking and I'm just feeling this, that, if I don't say anything today, I don't give a voice to this, of how something that seems so disconnected from our world today, okay, like it's not in my backyard, it's not in my world, so it's not in my existence, it doesn't exist in my world, so I shouldn't care so much about it, right? Wrong. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. And are we leaving this world better than when we first came to it, or are we living it in a like worse? And we're leaving this for the future generation, even if you have no children, okay, even if you have no children, but there are children. Are we leaving this as a human being? We are leaving this to the next generation, the world in a more deplorable state than when we first came to it. Where's our humanity? Where's our heart? Do you have the heart to let this deteriorate? And we don't care about the future because we're going to die anyway, right? How about those younger ones who are going to continue on living? At least do your best to make sure that they can breathe better and breathe easier, so they won't have it harder than we did. If it's the same, fine, I have nothing to say. But if it's harder, if it's within our control, why not we do something about it? And the least we can do is to talk about it and raise more awareness about this. I'm a mother by choice. Both my children are not from my womb, and I care for them. So if I can care for two babies, who are now bigger kids, if I can care for those who are not from my blood, okay, not from my clan, not from my ethnicity, so much, how can I not care about the world and what's happening in the world? That is very much against my heart. Love is love, and I love everyone. And if our brother or sister and their families, their parents and the children are suffering somewhere else in the world, how can you not do anything about that? I'm not saying that I'm rich, I'm going to, be a millionaire and just give them all my money. Money doesn't solve it. It solves a great part of it, but it doesn't solve that. What is the root problem here? Where is the humanity? Where is that fervent wish and desire to have a peaceful world? Where did all of that go? Just because a few angry men or women come together and make a decision, or something else? I don't know. I really don't know. So what can we do now? As of the time of this recording, Airbnb has announced 24 hours ago that they are waiving all the fees, all the processing fees for Ukraine. So if you book any Airbnb accommodation in Ukraine, they will get 100% of your booking. And of course, obviously you cannot fly there now since the airport is closed. So bomb and closed. So it's a form of donation to them. So they'll get the money to ensure that they will be able to survive. But the next thing is, will the food supply be cut off. And the children, they're taking shelter. There's no sunshine. They are underground, or maybe not underground, but everything is kept closed and locked up. This is not the life that we envision anyone, any human to go through. But whatever that you can do it. And this is not exclusive only to Ukraine. Anywhere else in the world, look at the conflict that's happening in the world. Little children, elderly, those who are in the hospital sick and needing a much needed operation, and the hurt and killed young men and women on the battlefield, the civilians, the military, all that wasted resources, wasted youth, wasted lives because of this senseless war. Well, this is not utopia, I know. So war will still continue on because that's how humans have been through the centuries. You see war almost every century. So we're in a new century now. We had World War I and World War II in the last century. So here we are. But what can we do each time? When people don't learn, it is up to people who are not directly involved in the war to do something about it and not just sit back and allow it to happen to our fellow human beings, don't you think? Can you imagine if it happens to you and you're all alone and you think you're all alone and the entire world doesn't care about you and the future seems bleak and you don't know when your next meal is coming. You don't see the sunlight anymore and you've lost so much and you have lost so many people that all you feel is that just show me some sign, give me some comfort. Everybody is having their own battle. Okay. I'm not saying that your pain is less than theirs or more than theirs, but if there's still something within us, if this still within our capability, just to share the post or just to speak up or just to, just to talk about it and raise awareness about that so that it will be a seed that's planted in all of us and it will be passed on to the next generation, that peace is the way, war and conflict are not the solution. And perhaps, just perhaps, that seed that we planted 20 years from now, 50 years from now, it will bear fruit so that next time we ensure the continuity of the peacemakers so that the next batch of warmongers, when they raise up all this conflict and everything, the seed that we planted become a tree to support and provide shelter to those who need to take shelter from the next war. I'm being very realistic here because it will, for as long as there's still humans, they won't learn. There will still be war. But what can we do about it? And that is what matters the most. So with the tears that fell, with the blood that fell, make that worth it so that they're not forgotten, so that next people, the next generation will know that that is not the way. And that starts from us here right now. So coming back to tears, if you feel moved and touched by all of this, what is happening, you're crying out of anger, you're crying out of frustration, you're crying out of grief, whatever it is, let the floodgate open, okay? Let the dam break, D-A-M, dam. Just let the tears out. Just let it out. And may that be the fuel, the motivation for you to make the world a better place when you leave it. Because we don't know when death is coming, and death will come knocking. So I don't mean to be morbid, but who knows when our time is up. So this is my quite long rambling about how crying, tears actually open up our heart and throat so that we are able to express ourselves and speak up what is most important to us, what's more important than human lives. So I shall leave you at that. I shall leave you at that. Thank you for listening.